there's got to be a point in all of our lives when something happens and we become a seeker.
All right. Well, welcome back to the Seekers of the Eternal podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Jason DeRocha, and I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend, Chris Parks. Chris, it's so
Hey,
nice to see you again after seeing you in person.
yeah, we've been out for a couple of weeks, but we've been busy. We've been in Miami for the Web3 Summit,
Yeah.
and the Seekers team got to meet in person. So we got to meet, most of the team got to meet up, and my brother Matt was with us as well.
Mhm.
So we had a great time. I know we're all feeling supercharged from the experience, from all the people that we met, from speaking on the panel. And so yeah, we're just going to do a quick one this week to dive in and share what we experienced in Miami,
Yeah.
and then just some I'm going to read a few passages from Yogananda that I think are just inspirational for us on this journey as we move into this world. Is um, yeah, so I guess we can kind of break it down a little bit of I mean, it was incredible getting to meet you in person after all
Yeah.
these conversations that we've had, getting to hug you, and
Yeah.
for us to meet and to really seeing I feel like everyone on the team has a specific superpower, and we're all coming together, and I feel really grateful for this team that we have. I feel like we've all found each other in an interesting time, and I believe that we're gonna do it. I think that we're gonna create this project that we're building during this build market time, where a lot of the projects that have come and gone, or that were there for just a money grab or the quick make a buck, and now is the time where the real projects are being created, and the things that are going to last are being built. So I'm really
Yeah.
feeling really motivated to be doing
Yeah.
this together.
Really, really well said, Chris. I think you captured it perfectly. The meeting in person, especially when we've been working together for so long on this project, to finally get a chance to meet in person was the highlight of the trip for me, at least. To be able to give you a hug and your brother, and feel your energy, your sincerity, your genuineness as an artist and creator was very inspiring for me and motivational. And then to be able to go out and see your mural, in it's Wynwood Walls in Miami. Yeah.
Yeah, the Wynwood area in Miami just covered in murals.
Stunning, like your artwork, of course, was absolutely stunning. And to know how much time, effort, and energy you put into that, additional to seeing all of the other incredible work done by the great artists, it was awe inspiring. And then, like you said, like getting a chance to meet with a whole bunch of people in Web3, and crypto, other artists, other creatives, um, that was also very inspiring. You don't get a chance to see people in person that often in Web3. Unless you go out to these conferences, everything's on Twitter or Discord or Zoom if you're lucky. But there is a little bit of a disconnect when it's all digital, and to be live and in person with people and to hear them laugh, and as you said, to sit down across from them, and really get to know them and spend quality time with them and find out what they're interested in and what's appealing to them about what we're doing in our project. That was also very uplifting and motivating.
Yeah, I was really inspired and encouraged by the conversations that we were having with people. The I think the artwork immediately draws you in, and opens you up to having deeper conversations about things. That's what I've always loved about pursuing sacred art as a creative. Immediately, people have come with a different approach when they see the work. The ego sort of dissolves, and it allows us, like, really, it's almost like two souls get to connect and have a conversation, rather than two egos trying to uh, work with our own insecurities, and pitching ourselves and all of these kind of things. We had so many opportunities where we just immediately started talking about such deeper topics of what we're all going through, what we're all striving for. our hero's journey about, what we've left behind to pursue what we're working on now.
Yeah.
And almost everybody that I talked to had at least experience or interest in mindfulness practices, some sort of way to make sure that we're doing things that are coming from the heart and that have a positive impact on the planet. There wasn't anybody out there that I felt like that was just, when Lambo, like sort of
Right.
like mentality. It was all like, we're building for the future. We know that this is the future, and those who put in the time and effort and love and passion into what they're doing, those are the projects that are going to show the world the possibilities of this technology. So
Yeah.
I'm really happy to be building during this time in our history, this like we talked about in another episode of the podcast, the planetary alignment uh, is in an alignment now where uh, big technologies will come in and change and shape our planet.
Hmm.
It's it's had this same planetary alignment like we talked about before. The first one, I believe it was 2011. I'm trying to think of the dates here. So I'll forget the dates there. But the first time the recent time this was a similar planetary alignment was when the first URL was published.
Oh, interesting.
Uh, in the second time that this happened in a recent history is when both the iPhone and the Android were released. And then and during that time too was when YouTube was bought and became mainstream for all of us. So
Mm.
we're due for a big technological awakening.
Yeah.
And it's like before it was like, oh, what's it going to be? What's it going to be? And now you look around and you're just like, whoa, like what isn't it? It's
Right.
like AI
VR,
and
AI.
blockchains and
Yeah, you're
VR and
right. It's
augmented.
so true.
Yeah.
It's incredible with the space that we're going into.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I think for well, a few things really stood out for me. For this Women of Web3, like you said, like the first thing, it's the conference is called Women of Web3, where there is a concerted effort to make sure that it's a playing field where all people feel comfortable being in this space. And it was well attended by men and women. I think it was about 50-50 in terms of presenters, and just people who showed up. And I think that the people that were there, regardless of race, creed, religion, gender, the people that were there were just genuinely there to make this place better. They were capable and qualified individuals, and their only thought was, how do we create something? I don't want to speak for everybody, but for the people that we had a chance to connect with, how do we make something that's sustainable and that everybody can be a part of? It wasn't any type of competitive. I don't know how you felt. I didn't feel any competitive attitudes from people. I feel like everybody was more collaborative and wanted to share what they knew. And, even people that have been in the space for 5 or 10 years, in terms of, crypto, they were very, Chris and I both had a conversation with the gentleman who's been in crypto since, Bitcoin was first being mined and created. And he came over because he was blown away by Hanuman and the artwork that Chris had on display, that you had on display. And he came at it from a sacred art perspective, like in terms of geometry and
Hmm.
the sacred geometry that was found within the NFT project, and the artwork that you were presenting, and kind of blew me away. As I mean, I wasn't a creator. What were your thoughts on that when you had a chance to sit down with him and he was actually talking about the sacred geometry within your artwork, and then obviously the sacred geometry that's also built into algorithms and cryptocurrency?
Yeah, he was seeing the parallels in the artwork to, yeah, to the way that the blockchain works and the patterns that are created. And so yeah, it was really cool hearing that as a creator with this artwork. I just asked to be a channel for what wants to come through.
Mm.
And I use my meditation practice, and I just ask that this energy of Hanuman, basically Hanuman really is a Hanuman is a symbol for prana, for energy. And with the blockchain, these cryptocurrencies are energy, and they are energy patterns, and they're created in this way. So he was just seeing all of the similarities in the artwork that pertain to the patterns of the way it's created through. And in sacred artwork, sacred geometry, it's like the building blocks for all of matter and energy. So it's really cool to hear. People can look at, that's what, when you put all this richness into the work, I don't necessarily even know what it's all about. Different people can see different things in it and have their own stories. And that's what's so beautiful about artwork. When you ask to be a channel and you tune into muses and you let it come through, then everybody should get a different relationship with the image that they're seeing based on what their interests are. So it was really cool hearing the responses from people, and no competition from people. There's not a jealousy. It's a when you're seeing something cool and you're seeing people really going for it and doing it, and have a team that that is well put together, and all of our presentation is there. It gets people excited, like, wow, look at what they're doing. And you see what other people are doing, you're like, whoa, that's such an interesting way to use it. It's people think maybe, oh, NFTs and cryptocurrency was a fad. It's like, no, there will be fads within the space. There will be fads in the tools, but the tools will be the tools are the future. The tools will continue on, but there will be fads that come and go with inside that. But it's the same with anything. If you're building something that has of good intentions, and it has energy, and you have a team that's willing to work hard and not give up, that's what's going to last and what's going to work and be meaningful for everyone. So and we got to share that too.
You're absolutely right. And the thing that I think that really stood out to me the most, Chris, was the community behind each project that was presented. So first of all, let's talk about it as a whole. Web3 and crypto, there is a really special community, especially the ones that are left behind after all of these exchanges are falling apart, and this crypto crash, if you want to call it that. But as you said, it's not a bear market, it's a build market, and everybody that's in this space right now feels like they're coming together like a community. There's still going to be people in there that have nefarious intentions. You'll never be able to eliminate that risk completely, but the ones that we had a chance to connect with, the people that are part of this conference and a lot of the other events that we visited, they were people that were all in and genuinely want to help one another, support one another, and grow with one another. That was the one thing. So as a whole, it was great. And then you have these like sub communities, these NFT projects that were built. Even while crypto was kind of blowing up, NFT projects were blowing up and getting popular. We had a chance to meet up with the on-chain monkey community in Miami, which is one of the tightest communities in the NFT space. And it was incredible. There was several social events that they put on. We only got a chance to go to the brunch, but that was incredible because we got a chance to mix it up with a lot of the people that, again, share similar goals and perspectives and pursuits in the space. And then we also had a chance to we Chris, you and your brother went to an event, and then myself, Derek, and Brendan went to events. And the one that we went to was the World of Women Gala, which is World of Women is another incredible NFT project, and they put on the most spectacular event for their community. And we had a chance to go as guests and be a part of the media team that went through, and we had a chance to interview a whole bunch of folks and experience some of the festivities. They put on one of the most incredible experiences in Miami. I think it was like the hottest ticket in town to get in. And again, it wasn't about showboating or anything like that. Everybody kind of came together, had a wonderful time, made some great connections, and created memories that'll last a lifetime. And then Chris, I don't know if you want to share a little bit about what you did at that event.
Yeah, we got invited to. So there's an artist named Chris Dyer, is a visionary artist. I've been following his work for a long time now. He was previously out of Montreal, and he just moved to Florida. He actually moved to St. Pete here, where I'm living, and he had a show at a gallery space called Moksha in Miami. And his was he released recently his NFT community project, which is called, I believe it's the Galactic Gang. Hopefully I got that right. And he's collaborating with a conscious hip hop artist that Matt and I, my brother, we were huge fans of, named Illuminati Congo.
Mm.
And he's Illuminati Congo's a big supporter of the NFT space, Web3 world. And his music is amazing. During the pandemic, he was putting out, I think it was like in 2020, he was just putting out, it would be like full album release and then another
Wow.
full album release and
We
then
were
another
listening to
one.
it in
And
the
then
car. It was really good music, really good.
mm, and so many collaborations with other artists. So he really was an inspiration for me during that time, because there wasn't a lot of people that were going hard creatively. If you remember, during
True.
those lockdowns, we were so inundated with all of the woes of the world and all of the things, and but to see somebody in the midst of that energy, like just going super hard, continuing to do what they're doing, putting out this positive music, it, it was really a beautiful thing for me. So I really enjoyed getting to go out there and meet him and see the live performance. I didn't even know he was going to be performing. That's what's cool about Miami during Art Week, during Basel. You'll see, some of your favorite musicians and artists in little spaces. Like he was on a small stage with just, standing room
That's
of
so cool.
people,
Yeah.
and getting to see that and connect with him. So, and Chris Dyer, since he moved to Florida, he has like a huge collection of his work. Even pieces in the past that he sold, he's actually bought back, and he's like creating this stable
Oh,
of
wow.
artwork. So that work can eventually go into, either a permanent space that you can visit. So he had, the whole place was just packed with this visionary art. So that was awesome to get to see those pieces in person, to
That's
connect
cool.
with him. We met him. He came out to the mural when we were painting and invited us to that. So that was actually one of my favorite events that I have been to in my 15 years of going to Basel. They had indigenous, there was a lot of medicine healers there as well, for peyote and ayahuasca, and there were these indigenous Aztec or Mexica dancers
Yeah.
that were performing in all of the amazing, pheasant headdresses and traditional outfits. And so that was always awesome to see. And so, yeah, we had a really great time. I felt just supercharged. I've been, painting a mural really, really steadily, going many days with only sleeping a little bit, going to the conference, being out late, coming back early. But that medicine music, when you experience it and you allow it to work on you, it can fill you with energy. And I just left there just super filled with energy. And then we got to go into the next we got to go the next day to do our panel and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was really cool being out there and experiencing other artists and the way that they are putting on parties and events based around these communities. So it's very fun to see.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of really quickly, a couple of the other highlights, as you just touched on, you and myself, we were asked to be speakers, and we had a panel discussion about health and wellness in the space of crypto and Web3, and we got a chance to chat with some really exceptional people in crypto and Web3. And we'll put a link to all of their profiles at this podcast as well. We have links to that panel discussion where I think we talked about a few ways that people can operate in this space without getting too bogged down by all the drama and the noise that's happening right now. And then also, like, on a personal level, like if you're going through a tough time in this space where you're seeing either your investments down, or projects that you really were hopeful about not necessarily going in the direction you wanted it to go into, really talking about like how to maintain perspective and keep that positive energy, and to put more of your energy into the spaces that you're going to get a return, and not maybe necessarily financial, but there's other types of returns that you can get when you're part of a great community. And we talked about some of those things. So the panel discussion was great. We got a chance to interview and meet some phenomenal human beings. Rashad Evans, former UFC lightweight champion. He's a part of an incredible psychedelic NFT project. And, he's creating an experience for people who have gone through depression or not necessarily achieving what they've always wanted to achieve. He's created almost a support group through his NFT project. And Rashad's the kind of human being that took his skills, talents, and gifts to the highest possible level a human being can take it. And he talked about him just after achieving all of those things, feeling broken and feeling like he has to start over and feeling lost. And to have somebody like that with those achievements going through what he's going through or what he went through, and now putting together a community of like-minded individuals to help one another, it was pretty special. We have BitBoy Crypto, who gave us an opportunity to interview him. He shared his perspective. His son's getting into the space. We just had a whole host of people, artists and creatives, who took the time to speak with us, share their journey, and took a huge interest in Seekers of the Eternal. Of course, everybody loved you, Chris. Like, there was a lineup of people to get hugs, men and women, just to get hugs from you, including myself. Um, that energy that you bring, and you and your brother Matt, that just it just so calming and so comforting to everybody who had a chance to connect and meet with you as well. Like, those are some of the biggest highlights for me over the course of my time in Miami.
Yeah, I felt like, yeah, it was like we were all just feeding off each other's energy, and that's what's nice about having that space where we're not hard pitching anything. It's like, if you like it, cool. If you don't like it, whatever. And just being able to make those human connections. Yeah, seeing Rashad Evans out there. I mean, I've been a fan of mixed martial arts and UFC since we were, renting it at Blockbuster on tapes, and being able to connect with him in person. And that's what is, when we were talking about on the panel a little bit too, as you move into this Web3 space, the audience becomes smaller, but you become like a band, like a really passionate band that's playing with all of their passion to even like a few people in a small crowd.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's what we're all doing now.
Yeah.
And it's actually really electric and fun. And the people that are with us now, if you're listening to this, if you're just getting interested in it, you're here at the beginning of something that's growing. Just like, being able to brag about seeing a small band in a small venue before they blew up. That's what we're all doing now. And even somebody like Rashad Evans, who is like a very recognizable name, and many people at least know of him.
Yeah.
And to just be able to be walking around in a small place with him, interviewing him, talking about psychedelics together. At Bufo of Alvarius Medicine, from the Sonoran Desert Toad. We talked about it on the podcast before. What a gift to humanity, especially, in fighters. I've heard a lot of different fighters, Mike Tyson included, that it's really been a game changer for, after you've accomplished that's a big thing. You've accomplished your dreams. You've taken it all the way to the top. You've retired from that. And now, like, that urge in you hasn't left. You still want to be in the ring. You still have all of this, you've done all of the things you set out to do. And then that can be actually way worse than feeling like, oh, if I could just do this, then I would be happy.
True.
If I could just accomplish these things, if I could just have this money, then I would be happy. If I could have this fame, I would be happy. And then you do it all, and then you're like, I'm still not happy. I've done it all. Like, what? And you just want to kill yourself, because what are you gonna, it's the worst.
Getting to that now what stage must be, I can't imagine, it's like exactly as you said. It's like, it's starting a new journey. It's exciting, but the fear, all of those things kind of creep in. And if you're alone, it can amplify all of those hard feelings. But to be a part of a community of folks who are going through it with you together, there's something really special about that. Like, I don't know where this road's going to take us, but we'll be shoulder to shoulder through it all. There's something really powerful about that.
Yeah. Right. And we're not doing this we're not seeking happiness by becoming famous. We're not seeking happiness by becoming rich. We're not, we know that you can find happiness just by sitting alone in your room and going inwards. you can feel happiness and joy and calmness and peace without going on vacations, without earning $1 million.
Yeah.
You really every single day can tune in and get it. And these medicines like Bufo can show you that. If you're or this, the psychedelic therapies. Previous to this, I was at a psychedelic conference in Miami, just maybe a couple of weeks before this, and realizing all of these tools are becoming available for us to be able to make it through this time in history. And I say make it through by making it through with calmness and peace and hope, and realizing that this is the best time ever for your soul. We all chose to be here during this time. We all chose to watch this movie. We chose to be in these bodies, to have these experiences, and we're meant to enjoy it.
Yeah.
We love watching movies like Stranger Things, or these movies where the world's crumbling and it all is gone to hell. We love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We put that on purpose and watch it and experience. We'll put on VR and go into a war zone. Why do we do that? We enjoy the adventure. We enjoy imagining ourselves in difficult situations and pressing on. So yeah, I wanted to. So I know we're gonna do a quick one today. So I wanted to just share. These are some really great insights from Yogananda from a book called How to Awaken to Your True Potential. And by the way, we'll also put links to all of the interviews here in the show notes. I highly recommend watching those. It's really cool, like going back and tuning into and hearing the different people talk, so you can get a sense of what we're talking about here. And so this is I think, for anybody that is pushing themselves to pushing themselves creatively, or if you're starting a business, or if you're going to school, or anything that you're doing, that it's all about putting in that effort and that hard work. You're not going to achieve anything without that. Don't fool yourself. If you're anytime where you're being lazy, you're stacking the chips against yourself. And this is, it's so great hearing this from a great saint. And so, and I want to read a few of these, because I think they all go together really nicely to give us a full picture, and then we'll end the podcast there. He says, only by the fire of persistent effort can malignant seeds of past karma be roasted and destroyed. Most people give up hope just when the balance of good karma slowly stoops toward them to give fruit, and they miss their reward. I heard people at the Web3 conference talking about this. It's like people like going hard, going hard, and you're almost at the end and you give up. Yogananda talks so much about like this example of, say, two boxers. It's the one who is always just like, I can give one more punch. I could give one more punch. I could give one more punch. And if you always have one more in you, then that will be the one who succeeds. And he says here, idleness is extremely detrimental to the spiritual it is extremely detrimental to spiritual realization. Laziness in body or mind must be driven away before you can emerge to the kingdom of God. As soldiers on the battlefield must never know idleness, so the spiritual man must be absolutely free from mental or physical idleness. Never let yourself think that work is too much for you. Remember that God is creating universes and he is never tired. If we want to be like him, we must have his tremendous capacity for activity. Whatever you are doing, always think that you are doing God's work. Each day say, what can I do for God today? Do your best and forget tomorrow. Do not harass the soul with petty worries. God will take care of everything. And that if we are doing that, if every day we're saying we're working for God, we're channels for this goodness. And when I say God, I just mean the consciousness of infinite goodness, the goodness in the world. We're doing our efforts for that. And so lastly, he says, your engagement with business is important. but your appointment with serving others is more important. And
Mm.
your engagement with meditation, God, and truth is most important. Don't say you are too busy keeping the wolf from the door to have time to develop heavenly qualities. Break your self satisfied, immovable habit of idolizing your less important engagements and ignoring your most important engagement with wisdom. No one else will answer for your actions. Engagements with overactivity and Mr. Idleness lead to misery. It is time for the modern man to shake his drowsiness and systematize his life. The modern man has learned to apply science and system to business for his material comfort. He ought also to apply science and system to improve his health, prosperity, social life, and wisdom. Systematize and schedule your engagements. Let the secretary of your true judgment arrange your life's daily itinerary.
Yeah. Powerful. That
Mm-hmm.
might be one of the most, it is the most powerful message I feel like we've ever shared on this podcast. I think that the one thing that stood out to me while I'm listening to it, and the message that plays over and over, is, self-care is the start of everything else. Caring about yourself, like you were caring about, like if you were, you know, to care for yourself like you were responsible for caring for someone else. You wouldn't let yourself eat junk food, or not be productive, or allow insults or negative thoughts into your mind. I think you would take care of yourself by nourishing your body with clean foods and lots of rest and liquids, and reading rich literature that makes your mind grow and more powerful, and surrounding yourself with people that love you and care for you. Like, that's how you take care of yourself. And the one message I feel like I'm taking away is, if I can get my mind right, and I can get my body right, and I take care of those two things, everything will flow from that. I feel like it becomes a magnet for all of the other things that you seek. If the universe sees that you're taking care of yourself, I feel like it'll bring more to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like you were saying, you can systematize in the same way that you do for business, in the same
Mhm.
way that you approach things in a wise, creative, and optimal way for business. You're doing the same thing for your own well-being, your own happiness. And then when
Yeah.
you do that, you can know that God will take care of you, that
Yeah.
the universe responds in a way that we are co-creating this. We don't have to feel like we're just this ship out on the waves, and we can be tossed around, and nothing that we're doing, the things that we're thinking, the things that we're doing when nobody's looking, we think that those don't matter. They do matter, because
Yeah.
it's what's in here is what we're experiencing in the outer world. The world is a mirror, so when we're getting it right inside. And I love that idea. It's like, yes, work hard at your business, and in order to pull this off, in this space of Web3 right now, the
Mm.
only ones that are going to succeed are the ones that are persevering, because we know what it's like. You have to keep pushing even when it doesn't seem like it's
Yeah.
going to work.
Yeah.
And the obstacle is the way. This is the time to build. So you keep doing that. But then what he says there too, at the same time, when somebody needs your help, when you have a friend who just, you can tell they're going through a hard time, and it would be very helpful for you to take time and go get lunch with them. Or, for me, it's like, I'm not going to stop doing my guided meditations with people. I'm not going to stop doing podcasts like this. I'm not going to
Yeah.
stop offering my help and my focused attention on friends that need a call, or,
Yes.
a family member that needs something. Don't say you're too busy with your work to do those things. Those are part of it. And know that, when you're prioritizing time for yourself and your own well-being, you're working hard at the projects that you're putting effort into, and then you're making time for your friends and your family, and connecting. When you're doing those things, you can be confident that you will succeed. It may not turn out the way that you thought it was going to turn out. It may not end up the way that you had planned, but if you keep moving forward with all of those things, then whatever you do is going to be successful, and probably way better than the thing that you had in mind.
Yeah. Well said. It compounds. may not be 100% tomorrow, but maybe it's 5% better than it was yesterday. And maybe the
Mhm.
next day, 7% better than that. And then when you look back and maybe 30 days from now or 60 days or a year, all of that progress compounds and you'll see yourself so far away, so far ahead from where you were, if you just put in the effort. So
Mhm.
thank you for sharing that, Chris. That was beautiful. I think it's a wonderful way to close this podcast out. And I can't wait for the next one, Chris, because we still have so much to talk about, so much to share. We're going to be jumping into some podcasts with the likes of Rashad Evans and some of the other folks that we met as well who've agreed to come on and chat with us and share their journey
Mhm.
and story. So I'm excited about that. And maybe just really quickly, a quick update on Seekers of the Eternal and Hanuman that's going to be coming on the Mint's coming on January 17th.
Right. So yeah, if anybody hasn't heard that yet, we are releasing the Hanuman collection 5,000 one of one Hanuman images January 17th. And so I'm finishing up the artwork. I'm going to be working with our developer in using the software to combine this and have all the rarity traits and writing the background information on all the symbols that so when you mint one of these, you can have this as your personal um, power image that has a message specifically for you, and you can use it in that way. So yeah, we're really looking forward to releasing this. This is when it really all comes into focus, and the collection is released. And then it's really all about being part of this community. You're purchasing one of these NFTs is like your ticket to or your membership to the club.
Yeah.
And then once you're in the club, we're going to be coming up with so many good ways to just to be able to connect with us and for us to be able to create more meaningful content. This will just allow us to be able to do all that kind of stuff. We have a podcast like this where you don't hear a bunch of commercials. If you want to support us, like just take a chance and get one of these NFTs. They're not going to be too expensive for you. It's going to be similar to like buying a print from me.
Yeah.
And then so for those who are hearing this that are new to this world, click on, go to my Instagram, click on my link tree and click on the Discord link and get in there and accept the invite. It's going to feel weird. It's going to look weird. You're not going to know what to do, but we have a whole team in there that literally, like, if you click open a support ticket, this isn't like customer service where you're going to have to be waiting on hold for
Right.
it's like open a support ticket. We have people that are there around the clock from in Asia and from Europe and from everywhere. So, and they're eager to help you. We really want to help people who are new. We want to help you on board to this. So all your questions can be answered. We can talk about different things to look out for within Discord, but just get in there and just start chatting with us. Like just say you're here and then you found us, you've been listening to the podcast. We want to hear those voices and we want to help you learn how to use this technology because it is the future, and the earlier that you learn it, you could just use this as like, all right, I trust these guys, I like what they're doing, I want to get acclimated to Web3. Let us help you. That's what we're here for. So let's do it together.
Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, thank you so much for another great podcast. And we'll see you tonight. Actually, we got an AMA tonight at 9:30. So hopefully we'll have a chance to mix it up with some of our community members tonight.
Sounds good. All right, friends. We'll see you again next time. Blessings.
Blessings.
Mm-hmm.